Welcome everyone, it's Bella, and today I'd like to talk to you about the penumbral lunar eclipse at 8 degrees of Gemini on the 30th of November 2020. Visible in much of Europe, Asia, Australia, North and South America, the Pacific, the Atlantic, and also the Arctic. The influence of this lunar eclipse will last to approximately the middle of next year, and the last time we had an eclipse such as this was back in 2012. So if you think back to what was occurring during that time, it can give you an idea of this cycle and its similarities. At this time, the moon is conjunct the fixed star Aldebaran, the Watcher of the East, one of the royal stars, also symbolic of the angel Michael, the White Rider. In Gemini, the sign of media, information, electronics, internet, communication, trade, movement, and our minds, and cognitive abilities and perception, with the North Node here. And then we have the South Node in Sagittarius, the sign of the galactic center, truth, wisdom, beliefs, higher knowledge, and Akashic records. With the Sun here conjunct the fixed star Antares, the royal star and watcher of the West, connected to the angel Uriel, who also warned Noah of the great flood. Now the ruler of this moon is Mercury, currently in Scorpio, with its dispositor Mars direct in Aries, still loosely squaring the Capricorn heavyweights of the year. We have Venus in Via Combusta in detriment in Scorpio, opposing Uranus in its fall in Taurus in an unusual mutual reception. We have Venus and Mercury sextiling the Capricorn stellium in Scorpio, in Capricorn. Neptune, which also rules the media, is now freshly stationed direct and powerfully strong in Pisces, squaring the nodes. The moon is also quincunx Venus, and the sun is quincunx Uranus. This eclipse could possibly bring tension and polarizing energies in relationships, and you might be dealing with rebalancing emotional intimacy and support issues, including financial sharing and emotional support. Also support regarding our mental health and issues of loneliness. But at the same time, we could be feeling as if a sleeping pill hasn't quite left our systems yet, and there's still a strange, curious excitement in the air. We can expect possible severe fluctuations in the markets and digital currencies with artificial highs and extreme lows. Unexpected or unusual connections or events with money and love can occur. Love at first sight, drop at next fight, internet connection disruptions. Be careful with your heart, as Uranus can tend to make things exciting, but brief sometimes. We are being reminded that we are individuals, and as individuals must research and uncover the hidden truth and information ourselves, as we have been in a misleading fog of media mind control with Neptune's lower frequencies, and now Mercury in Scorpio, which can also bring in a controlling aspect in regards to our freedom of speech, our privacy. We've been steered around much like robots, being manipulated through fear and separation and lower vibrational frequencies, also affecting our immune systems in the process. Finding truth has become as hard as finding a needle in a haystack. And people have been willing to lie in order to have their beliefs play out in reality. we are being prompted to evaluate our relationships and alliances of all kinds, our values and beliefs, and practice spiritual discernment in the information that we are being bombarded with. Neptune in Pisces is calling on spiritual attunement and sensitivity through spending time with the divine, with God, and aligning ourselves with the truth and using the higher vibration of Neptune to raise our consciousness. Remember that what you focus on is what will affect you, raising or lowering your vibration. Truth is steady and not afraid of being investigated. God's divine plan is playing out in front of our eyes, and many prophecies of many cultures are being actualized now. We are entering the age of Aquarius before the end of this calendar year, coinciding with the solstice point, and we are moving towards a mass emotional swing towards the truth and spiritual awakening as we birth towards the golden age. We might also be facing huge restrictions to our freedoms in the coming year, and with the Saturn-Uranus square, which will be lengthy and uncomfortable for most of the year of 2021. Therefore, this is a time for preparation, paying heed to the divine lights in the sky that causes a slight sense of euphoria, blended with an energy current of restlessness due to the changes we can feel is about to take place. It is vital that we not stay fixed in our belief patterns indicated by the nakshatra Rohini, and also allow ourselves to stay open to a higher perspective, the bigger picture. It is impossible for us in our human condition to understand everything in its wholeness, especially after being fed certain information for our entire lives. We must therefore spend time with God, following our intuition, which will be strong now, to discern between truth and the possible manipulation of it. This includes false religions and beliefs, and a general attitude of having all the answers. We are being prompted to let go of excess, of separation, of judgment, and fixed, stubborn thinking, staying open to the divine communication and messages coming through, vibrating on a lighter knowledge, a higher unconditional love, a unity that stretches beyond borders, skin, and veils. We are to move towards staying light, flexible, alert, walking by faith and not by sight, putting our trust in God's divine plan and unconditional love, raising our vibrational frequency, and aligning with people that are like-minded and supportive. Now, a full moon or lunar eclipse in general has the energy of a culmination taking place, or the fruition of something, or the ending of something in an area of your life. So if you look at your chart and you look to see where Gemini falls in your chart and which house Gemini falls in, will be the area where you are maybe now completing something. And of course, it doesn't mean that this is going to happen on the day of the eclipse. As I mentioned, the influence stretches until about the middle of next year. So something could be coming to a head in this area of your life. Now, if it's your first house, it can be in regards to your attitude. It can be in regards to your perspective of life, your personality, how others perceive you, your one-on-one relationships with others. And it can also affect your physical body. If it's your second house, it can affect your movable possessions, your property, your income, your job, your general sense of security, your values, your morals, your inner self-worth. It can also affect your talents, your skills, your eating and intake habits, and your plans towards the future. And this can also, in the second house, affect your close relationships, like a marriage partner, for example, or a business partner. If Gemini is in your third house, it can affect your way of thinking, what you think about, whether you worry or whether you are optimistic. It can affect your communication in general, whether it's online through the internet, whether it's writing, whether it's speaking, or whatever that is. It can affect courses, maybe a short course you're taking, a language skill, decision making. It can affect gossip and short commutes, your commute to work, your neighborhood, siblings, relatives, messages, and so forth. If it is in your fourth house, it can affect your domestic affairs, your home. It can affect your parents. It can be an effect to past emotional patterns from your childhood. It can affect your roots. And in general, your family. And in the fifth house, it can affect your children. It can affect pregnancy. It can affect creative projects, sport and exercise, fun, the way you like to escape reality, politics, love affairs, how you express yourself. It can also involve a lover and an advisor. In the sixth house, it can involve pets. It can involve your duties and responsibilities. It can involve an uncle or an aunt. It can involve employees if you have your own business, a tenant, a healer of some kind, like a dentist or a doctor. It can involve sickness or your health in general. It can involve your habits, your daily work environment, your work environment, your co-workers, your office, your general schedule and order of the day, your cleanliness and hygiene routines. If it's your seventh house, it can affect your marriage. It can affect divorce. It can affect your partnerships, your close partnerships, business partnerships, contracts and agreements. And in the eighth house, it can affect taxes, debt, alimony, wills, money of other people, your spouse's income, shared money with your spouse or with a business partner, trauma from the past. It can involve death, it can involve surgery, injury, and intimacy. Powerful, powerful changes when it comes to the eighth house. Now, when you have Gemini in the ninth house, you can experience this through in connection with long journeys, foreign interests, maybe passports, paperwork for immigration, philosophy, metaphysics, religion, your belief systems, higher education, higher knowledge, dreams, connecting to the divine, and so forth. And in the ninth house, it can also deal with your in-laws and with your grandchildren. The 10th house is your career. So it can deal with career issues, your status, whether it's marriage or divorce, single, in a relationship, whether it's a status at work, your reputation. It can be notoriety, fame. It can affect your credit. It can affect decisions by courts of law. And it can also affect your general direction in life. It can also affect parents and authority figures, superiors like your boss, and even cousins. In the 11th house, it can affect your political associations, memberships, alliances that you have with groups, friends. It can be your hopes and dreams for the future, your plans for the future. It can deal with legislation and regulations, blessings. It can deal with advisors as well, your son and daughter-in-law, and basically unbonded relationships. And if it's in the 12th house, it can deal with grief, seclusion. It can deal with sadness. It can deal with loneliness and depression. It can deal with faraway places, retreats, faraway countries, bed pleasures. It can deal with orphans. It can deal with a recluse of some kind or someone behind the scenes. So that is the general depiction of the areas in your chart and what this fruition or completion or closing up of something in that area of your house could entail. So I will close with the following scripture. It is Philippians 1 verse 9. And I pray this, that your love may again increase and abound in knowledge and in all spiritual understanding. May the sun shine bright on you today. Until next time.